Hello everyone, we are Art of War.
And we believe in creating a community where people can talk about, learn, and improve their skills at Warhammer 40K.
Our channel has live stream competitive matches of 40K, played by the best players in the world.
And we focus on teaching you how to get better at Warhammer, while also emphasizing sportsmanship and engagement with our audience.
We strive to play every faction in the game to a top level, while also using a variety of lists to show off different playstyles for every faction.
We also offer a variety of other videos such as codex reviews, faction rankings, and tactics videos.
When you join our channel, you become part of our community, where we emphasize learning and positive conversation about competitive 40K.
You get early access to our videos, sub badges, emotes, as well as rewatch those hangout and hobby sessions.
Joining our community is a great way for you to show your support for us, so we can keep making awesome videos for you and continuously expand the bounds of competitive 40K. What's up, people? It's time to hang out and hobby. Is this twice? Is this 2 times back to back? Is this the hangout and hobby with the Nick Nanavai?
You got the hobby over here, the hangout right there.
The hangout, the
it's
hobby.
A dynamic duo.
I'm gonna hobby these Harlequins. We're gonna get this Harlequin army painted. We got till the end of the year. There's like 30 Harlequins here. This is totally doable.
I'm a little nervous for you.
No.
What happens when you fail?
I won't fail. You can't.
What is on the line here, though?
There is no failing. That's not.
What is on the line? Am I gonna have to call John in here?
There's nothing on the line. There is no failure. See, this is a failure-free zone. You're
gonna paint this whole Harlequin army.
You have
Star Weavers too.
No, they're done.
Done?
Done. They're finished.
Done is
fully painted.
Deep quotation. They're in scare quotes. Done is in scare quotes here. You ready?
No, I need more paint. Where's my...
Nick saw me setting up all my paints and was like, who does that? Who does that before
They're
stream?
over here.
That's ludicrous.
I just needed to find them. They were easy to find.
Alright, here we go. I am working on some Grey Knights for tomorrow's stream game.
What you playing tomorrow?
I'm playing Grey Knights.
Against who?
The Drukhari.
Against me?
Drukhari Harlequins.
Siegs, what did Grey Knights do? I need a 4-1-1.
They just table you, so
I need
just
a
accept
401k.
it. This is going to be like one of those old school Nick and Siegs Grey Knight games where
no.
you just get tabled.
I hate those.
There's no mercy.
Is there Astrolabe? That's gone, right?
Astrolabe exists, but it's only on purgation squads, and it's not ignore line of sight.
Okay.
And I don't have it in my list.
So I can hide behind walls.
You could hide behind walls.
So this seems perfectly fine then.
All right. I could use my 2 CP strat to just teleport behind you.
9 inches away?
9 inches away, but I'm going to just shoot you to pieces.
It's one of those games I'm going to have to use basic screening.
You're going to have to use it, because I am definitely going to use that strat.
Hi, Bella. We got Bella in here. Bella's the best. She's a stream puppy. I love Bella. How do you
She's
feel
not
about
just
Bella?
a stream puppy.
What else is she?
She's the greatest Nick responsibility tool in the world. Nick is in the cauldron of responsibility right now, and it's impressive.
You think it's impressive?
Yes. I think you're stepping up to the plate here.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very paranoid about not being a good doggy daddy.
I'm giving you praise.
I appreciate it.
When Nick sees cute puppies, he's ready.
I will
he's
do.
gonna go the extra mile.
I will do anything for cute puppies.
He will buy the indestructible puppy bed for the puppy, and then promptly have it destroyed.
She wrecked that thing. I bought first. I had a nice bed for this puppy. It's like a
Can
nice.
we look at the
blanket.
warranty on that?
I need to. I need to. John's nagging me about that. I do need to. Because, like, I bought this $150 puppy bed. It was ridiculous. Because she wrecked her, like, just bed that I had for her. Because, okay, not puppy-proof. She just ate it. I get it. And then she wrecked her puppy-proof one. She peed on it and chewed it up. So now she has my bed sheet. And she's not done anything bad with my bed sheet.
It's just not tasty enough.
Not tasty enough.
It's not, why should she mess with the sheet? She's waiting for you to get a new bed. Then wreck that one. It's the long-term plans, Nick.
She did. The very first night she was here, she pooped in my bed. That was great. I was like, I don't need to crate train her. I can just. She's gonna be awesome. Night number one.
No, she was. The puppy came over and he asked her in clear English, "Are you potty trained?" Yes, perfect. Just accepted it on face value.
She said she was.
The honesty.
She is not. But she's getting there. She's doing a lot better. It's the constant treats. Oh, what you doing?
Definitely getting up to trouble.
Always in trouble. Something's always in her mouth. That's a thing. What are you doing with this Dread Knight, Seeks?
I am painting up a regular Dread Knight. I have 2 Grandmasters. I need to get 3 Dread Knights. Charlie is helping me out and lending me 2. But as soon as Warfire gets these Dread Knights back in stock.
How many Dread Knights are you using against me?
A 5.
What do they do exactly?
They shoot a lot. They hit extremely hard in combat. They have Psychic. They can teleport if they have the teleporter.
When you say they shoot a lot, how much is they shoot?
Nick, I think you're going to need to get her out of here because she might unplug the stream PC.
She might unplug the stream PC. Bella, don't be doing that. Come here, baby girl.
She's in all the wires. Oh, boy.
Hang on with John.
Help John paint. John is working on Crusaders. Like the new Know Thy Foe clinic. Glad to hear that, Clown Mode. What'd you like in particular about it? In this past week, we reformulated a lot of the clinics, keep the content as fresh as possible, as you can see in the schedule. And one of the new ones is Know Thy Foe. Each week, we're going to take a top-tier list or archetype, break it down, how you need to build lists to defeat it, all the tricks you need to know about those types of lists, the variations that you might see based on terrain and player preference. So we started off with AdMech. That was Brad and John breaking it down, and heard a lot of positivity about it. So would be interested to hear what you like the most about it, Clown Mode. And of course, if you have any feedback for us, feel free to pop into the Discord channel and drop some more feedback in that Worm feedback section. John's currently working on my orc side of the LGT in the UK. Had some coaching calls with Brad around mission tactics and the terrain. Any thoughts from you? Playing orcs, what kind of orc list are you playing? Give us a little more detail. Are you playing the buggy spam? Are you that guy? Or are you playing more of one of these MSU orc lists that Mark prefers?
Are you that guy, Seeks? Are you shaming the buggy spam players in the world?
Shame.
Shame?
Ringing the bell is shame.
That's harsh.
Officially cast out
That's harsh.
of my kingdom.
What about the people who like buggies before they were like broken? What about the people who were just like, I like going fast?
If they like going fast, they can go fast with diversity. There's a lot of different...
Diversity.
There's a lot of different vehicles in that book. There isn't just squid buggies.
So like what Mark is doing with all the different buggies.
Yeah, I think what Mark is doing is actually a lot of fun. And actually interesting.
Interesting. Do you think the 9 squid buggies is fun and interesting?
Nope, I think that is just... They're undercosted. And as soon as they go back to being costed properly, you're not going to see 9 of them.
Now how do you feel about kill rigs?
I would like to see kill rigs on the table, but I think they are very strong based on the data sheet that they have. Add a little bit of indirect fires, some auto-hitting las cannons. They got psychic potential. They've got access to the tremor shell strap. They've got good stuff all around, and they're pretty darn cheap for what you get on a T8 -1 damage platform. That hits hard in combat. They can also fight on death because they're characters, right?
They're characters.
Yep.
They don't even really degrade. Like degradation is like I'm slower.
Yeah, it's not like Tyranids have actual degradation, and orcs were like, we don't need to care about that. It's like,
well, they already start out kind of crappy. So like,
don't they hit on 3s in combat?
Yeah.
And then they're beast snaggers, so they get
+1 to hit and now wound against vehicles. That's a great change.
That's a great change. Those beast snaggers.
Mark sitting there trying to justify it was hilarious last night. John was like, why did they just give this to Mark? And he was like, well, everyone's +1 to hit in the codex, so you might as well just give him +1 wound also.
You gotta keep it different. You gotta keep it different. Cloud says he liked hearing advanced knowledge on defending the army/list, different perspective from the normal clinics. Well, we're super glad to hear it. That is going to be a regular feature of the War Room. And, there's 2 more new things coming up. We've got the pros and cons, which is our new debate-oriented style. And then...
on top of that, John and I just did a special one-off strategy session on team pairings, and I think that was a really awesome piece. So let me know if you guys give that a watch, or ladies. Let us know what you think of that strategy session as well. I'm very curious. We tried a lot more graphics in that one. Oh.
The puppy's trying to get in.
Puppy is, yes, she is.
Puppy attack.
Oh, Baba.
Let's see. Just finished painting Tau Tank Ace Longstrike. Thinking about putting him in my competitive list over third commander. What are your all thoughts? I definitely don't like Longstrike. First of all, you have to be Tau Sept, and I think Farsight Enclaves is far superior to Tau Sept, just due to the terrain density of 9th edition and all the tricks that Farsight Enclaves brings. It actually helps you against armies like Drukhari, which is a top tier army. And if you have play against Drukhari, you have a lot of play into most matchups. So being Tau Sept, that's a big downside. On top of that, lack of invuln is pretty devastating with the sheer amount of anti-tank firepower. As soon as you expose Longstrike, he's pretty much dead, unfortunately. There's just so much speedy anti-tank right now. You got all the Squig Buggies, like the Scrapjets. You've got the Stratoraptors from AdMech. You've got Las Chickens. You've got Dark Lances on Raiders. All that stuff is brutal for Longstrike. So he basically gets to shoot once, and then he's pretty gone. That's really why you don't see all the Tau tanks. Is the meta has just shifted far past tanks without invulns, which is unfortunate. It's too much flat 3 plus D3 damage in the game right now. But I also think Tau Sept is a big downside at the moment.
I got a cookie.
You got a cookie?
I got a cookie. John bought some cookies. Or Jack bought some cookies. Somebody got some cookies.
John buying cookies wouldn't have surprised me, though.
No. John likes cookies. But who doesn't like cookies? Siegs, do you like cookies?
Of course I like cookies. You've seen me eat cookies.
I haven't seen you eat eggs, though.
No, never making scrambled eggs. MSU OPSEC list supported by 3 Squig Buggies, 3 Scrapjets. Oh, so that should be a pretty, diverse list over there. On the LGT terrain, I think orcs play it pretty well. There's a decent amount of firing angles, so your shooting with the Scrapjets is going to be quite reliable. You don't have overwhelming shooting, but all the small stuff that I assume takes up the rest of you, all your commandos, burner boys if you have them, storm boys, etc., they're going to be able to hide in all the nooks and crannies on the LGT boards. So I think that's perfect. If you take the 9 Squig Buggies and 5 to 9 Scrapjets, you're not hiding anywhere on that board. If you go second against a gun line, you're going to get shot up. So I like playing. I definitely think keeping your vehicle footprint smaller so you can actually hide most of your army if you go second, I think that's a really safe way to play. What do you think of Purgation Squads with Stormbolters and Halberds? They are... I still don't like it that much because they don't hit very hard in combat. Now, if they're in Rapiers, sure, you can get the +1 attack and, they'll hit decently. But I would much prefer having the speed, because this is a big thing about Grey Knights, is you need to be able to take the engagements on your own terms. You need the speed to get into the middle of the table wherever the fights are happening. Purgation Squads don't have that speed outside of the teleport. So gating them up. You need Interceptors. Interceptors fill that role brilliantly. The other thing I like is Purifiers, because they offer a different type of psychic damage that doesn't stack all your smites up. So you can do Purifying Flame smites and get 3 or 4 off very reliably, each of those. And then the other thing is they have that -1 damage ability, so they can actually have staying power. What I found with the Strike Squads and Purgation Squads is they just don't really have much staying power, honestly. Even if you build around the 5+ Field of Pain from the Apothecary. So I would much prefer just get as many Interceptors in your list as possible. And once you add the Interceptors, then you want to start adding Dread Knights, because I think they're far superior to Purgation Squads.
I think it's time for a wash, Siegs.
Didn't this Paint Stranger start?
Yeah.
Yep.
What kind of wash, though? That's the question.
Oh, you got some gray hairs coming out back here.
Hey. I'm a father now. It's very stressful. It's running a company, running a puppy. This is a hard life.
I'm seeing that. What's up, Gundam? Did you enjoy the stream match yesterday? John put up the best fight he could with the Custodes, but man, did the Catan once the Catan hit his lines, there was zero mercy being held. And also, Necron Warriors apparently just don't die.
Why can't you just show him some mercy? Why did you have to 5s him?
It would be the thing. Like I'd take 5 saves on the Warrior unit, fail one of them basically, or if I fail 4 of them, I get most of them back on reanimation.
I hear what you're saying. I'm asking, why did you do such mean things to him?
It's because the Necron Warriors love me.
This has nothing to do with the Warriors.
I have the true command protocols over them.
It's because you're a robot.
for whatever reason, the Necron Warriors obey.
I don't like that. Like, I've played Necrons. They don't roll the 5s like your Necrons do.
Necrons are all over the place.
Necrons are awesome. They got a direction. They got the Hexmark Destroyer. He is a Necron staple. That's where every Necron list starts.
The Hexmark Destroyer is terrible.
No, he's not.
So bad.
He's really not.
He is awful.
He's really not.
He never does anything except for lose me the game because he didn't make the thing I needed.
On his worst day, he's getting engaged in banners.
He's just not, though.
He is. Like, this is what he does.
He just gets screened out.
Don't suck. Like,
well, I play against opponents who typically screen.
No, you don't. You play against me, and I do not screen. You're lying to me right now.
I did get the Hexmark Destroyer in, but then he didn't do anything.
No. He won you the last game we played. He literally did.
No, he lost me the game.
No.
The Drukhari game.
No. The last game you won, it was... I remember. I remember seeing...
You know that game.
That game. John would remember it. Where's John? He remembers everything. He's an elephant.
No, I know what game you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. You remember. You're also a robot. You don't forget stuff.
I'm just waiting for you to figure it out because it's an army that you always talk up and then for some reason they fall flat with you.
What falls flat with me?
This faction.
Was it Death Guard? No.
No.
Uh...
I like how you were thinking that though.
It wasn't Sisters.
Nope.
It wasn't Drukhari.
Nope.
What did I play? Marines? No, it wasn't Marines. Was it Space Wolves? It was
Space Wolves.
It was Space Wolves. That's what happened. The Hexmark Destroyer murdered my Space Wolves. He beat the Space Wolves. What? And you want to cut this guy? Space Wolves are good.
They are good. They just haven't had success on this channel. They've got Stomped by Knights. They've got Necron.
That's because I'm not good. So that's a different issue.
It's a totally separate issue. Let's see. It was good. We'll rewatch the rest of it later. Had a few work meetings couldn't bail from. Yeah, you'll definitely enjoy it. Ended up being a really close one at the end, but man, did John struggle killing stuff. That Necron list was just we don't. It played exactly like Necrons in the fluff, which is we don't die. You wanted to kill warriors, they're back.
They're back.
Just accept it. Necrons are fun.
Necrons are fun. I should play Necrons again. I'm gonna be a Space Wolf player though. It's my new thing. I don't know what I'm gonna be. I need a new army though.
What about Guard?
No.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
Your last performance with the Guard was outstanding.
When did I last play Guard?
Against GSC.
Oh, that's right.
You're the only person to lose against GSC this edition on this channel.
I've done it twice.
Yeah, I know. If you want to find out how GSC wins games, check out Nick Nanavati.
I have like a skewed perspective. Like everyone says GSC's the worst army in the game. I'm like, it's because everyone sucks. Like, dude, they're a good army. Like, that's literally how I think. They're not like a great army. They're horrendously overcosted. And
well, that's what you were saying about Tau, too.
Their offense isn't that awesome. No, but they'll win games the same way Tau wins games. They can just spew units onto objectives pretty much endlessly. And if you can move well and just use your tricks, you'll go decently. If you play Gene Circle well, I'm pretty sure I could go 4-2 with it at like any tournament, which isn't like impressive. But like, is that really the worst army in the game?
Would you do better than John?
No. If I was practiced on Gene Stealer Cult, sure. But like, John picking up and playing Gene Stealer Cult right now, he knows more about it than I do. I forgot everything.
Never change Gundam. He says he's going to ask for the same match until John wins.
God, we appreciate your support so much. John loved every minute of this.
John is gonna. I gotta tell him. I wish he was here.
It's okay. It's okay. We
gotta capture his face. The boy dragon is a man. That guy does not mess around with vehicles.
He's all right.
He would have killed that Telemoth if he was at full health.
I'm painting these Harlequins.
Any of you guys making it out to LGT? Unfortunately, we are not because it happens to be the same weekend as the Las Vegas Teams event, which we are all going to as a team. So, if it was a different weekend, probably we'd have at least somebody going. But unfortunately, they picked the same dates as that team event.
Did you know I actually registered us for the team successfully?
Yeah, I had to put my name in before.
Yeah, that's. I'm proud of me. It was actually quite a struggle, but we did it.
The bar is not the highest for Nick and technology.
You have to celebrate the little wins, otherwise there's no point in life, Siegs. Little wins. Every big marathon starts.
We're talking little wins here.
Every marathon starts with a baby who didn't know how to walk. Ever think of that? Ever think of that, Siegs? Yeah, you haven't thought of that because you're a robot and you started out in full form. That's what you're missing, the human experience, growth.
I've got plenty of growth.
No. You've got automated protocols.
Also, look at my AdMech skills. They've grown
You
a
got
lot.
AI technology coursing through your circuits. What do we got here?
What do you guys think of the LGT rounds format? Not sure I like the multiple 5-0 players. Won't continue on. They have always had such a strange thing because previously, what was the strange thing about their invitational?
The time issue was my gripe about it.
It was time issues.
Yeah, that was my personal unhappiness.
But also, they used to be a 5-round event, and you'd have a ton of undefeateds, and so whoever had easier matchups got to smash their opponents.
Well, that was the thing. It was like, I actually brought Gene Circle to that tournament, and it's like, even if I was undefeated up until my last round. My last round I lost fair and square, so I finished in like 20th place. But even if I had won that game, it was physically impossible for me to win the tournament because I just didn't have enough battle points. Because Gene Circle sometimes sneaks wins instead of like Eldar Plains, which just tables you.
Yeah.
So that didn't feel great.
Yeah, because usually you're not doing anything in the first turn. And maybe even the second turn you lay kind of low, but then you
explode out. Yeah,
you win the late game.
So
it also favors certain army types. Now they obviously have a full event, but what are they doing with making sure? Is there a top cut? Do you play the 5 first rounds and then they do a top cut? And so because of the amount of players, there are people who won't make a top 8 or something like that.
I don't know.
Top 16. Who is all on the Las Vegas team's Art of War team? It is going to be Nick Nanavati, our captain, followed by myself, John Lennon, Brad Chester, and Mr. Jack Harpster.
We got quite a powerhouse in Siegs. Did you know Siegs would go 5-3 with Yukari at a minimum? Did you know that?
At a minimum.
At a minimum.
Setting the bar low here. Nick actually said that straight face last night in front of everybody, and everybody was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Look, it's still at a minimum. What's your problem here?
This is like right before ACO, where Nick was like, are you still good at this game? You still got it."
I was worried about you. I was worried about you. I'm glad my worry was misplaced. I should have known. The robot just downloads the winning protocols and then he executes. Beep, boop, bop.
I did it in style, too.
You did it in style until you hit me, the Dark Eldar player who could defeat you. Where 4 others failed.
The only player to have any experience against Farsight. You played a lot of games against my list.
Yeah. You know why? Because I lost to it 100,000 times.
You know what? Almost every player that I played against, they tried to charge the Succubus and Drazna and all this stuff in for damage, and I was just not.
How many baits did you give me? And I said no to every single one.
A lot of baits.
A lot of baits.
You gotta take the bait.
And then you think I'm bad at this game. Yeah.
If only the game revolved around screening, then yes.
I'm not good at screening.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I can be if I'm mindful of it. Like it's not hard.
It was funny. Remember the game we played? We were doing the RTT tournament, and it was Agrippina versus Yukari, and you basically didn't screen whatsoever. And then I just, for some reason, I got the spirit of Nick in me and just totally forgot to screen the Scourges. It's like, oh, I made a Nick Nanavati. Whoops.
Dude, it happens. It happens. Sometimes you just forget to screen. That's why I was so worried you were going to ask for a take back. Because of course I'll give it to you, but I was like, sometimes you just forget.
I thought it was funny. I was like,
it's life. Yeah. And if you're me, you forget quite often.
Yep, you've owned it in the past. I was like, yep.
But you know what?
Messed up.
You know what? It's like one of those things. It won't kill you. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
No, it just meant I get to beat you in other ways.
I meant I could have actually gotten a 12 on scramblers because I could have scrambled with my mandrakes had I been a bit more experienced
You did.
at the time. No, I didn't. I didn't think.
Yeah, you did.
You sure?
Yeah, you scrambled with them. You originally weren't going to, and I was looking at you, and then you did it.
Oh, that makes sense.
I didn't have to say anything. Yeah.
Okay. I knew that.
What Necrons need point changes the most? The Catan need point changes. They're too expensive. You see Vols come into the game. You've got
Morven.
even Gazville is cheaper. You just look at the characters in the game for what they offer. Catan and the Silent King need to go down in a significant way. I'd say at least 30 points. After that, John proposed dropping Necron Warriors 1 point last week, which they usually don't try and drop the absolute core units. 1 point on Warriors would be a huge deal for Necrons.
You really think so?
Yes.
You take that many Necron Warriors?
Well,
Wouldn't
even
you be
in
like
just
40
that.
points back in your list, it's like, okay, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, 50 points back in the list, because minimum you're running like 50, 60.
That's right.
Or at least I like to. I know some people don't, but them going down that much? Oh, that's amazing.
Okay. It's just a point. That's what I'm saying. You know, like 1 point.
It really adds up on a unit like Warriors, though.
Okay.
I really think that their vehicles need the most love, though. Because they didn't get weapons updates, like every other book, they desperately need to be a lot cheaper, because they also have no reroll access. That's the biggest thing. Is their anti-tank is mediocre, and so there's no...
this Harlequin. We have a well-painted Harlequin here. Never thought I'd see the day, Siegs.
You have 3 well-painted Harlequins.
I have 11 well-painted Harlequins. Slowly but surely, I've chipped away at this army.
I don't know about 11. That
11.
seems
This
ambitious.
is number 11 right here. We got a super chat.
Pointing out, so $10 super chat from Meadow. Hey Nick, what would be your next faction of choice if you could not play Drukhari for whatever reason?
That's a great question. I'm kind of... I got the army ADD, so I need to switch armies soon. I'll still play Drukhari a lot, but I just need to play something new for a minute. I wanted it to be Thousand Suns, but they're not my style, unfortunately. They're way too slow for me, even with the teleporting. So, I don't know. These are the questions. I'm open to suggestions.
What are you feeling?
What am I feeling? I don't know. I'm kind of feeling the Jack Templars, but John and Jack have that train, so I'm not getting involved in that. So I need to come up with a new Nick army, a new brown magic sauce.
You could do the Space Wolves.
I do like the Space Wolves. It might be the Wolves. I think they're so underrated, so underappreciated, so undered. The Wolves, Space Wolves.
Are you running the drop pod?
Space Wolves. I like the pod. I don't know if I like the Dreadnoughts. They're so sturdy, though. They're such a core in Space Wolves. I don't know. I would have to look at it. I would have to consider my options with the Wolves. But definitely could play the Wolves. I like the Wolves, the Wolf people. What else could I play? I wish Harlequins just had a little bit more to them. I would love to play Harlequins, but I've been down the Harlequin hole so many times. It always ends in sadness.
Necrons.
No.
Necrons don't even have a win on stream yet.
They have a win in my heart. They have a win in the hearts of the people, Seeks.
We could play my Necrons versus your Necrons.
Why would we do such a thing?
It'd be a fun survivor match.
We don't have that many Necrons.
We do. We can run 2 different lists, no problem.
Not if we have the same models in our list.
Nick's like, hey, what's your list?
Real
real quick, let me get a copy of that.
I'll just wait for you to submit it first for graphic design, and then I'll just copy and paste the same thing.
So Werner, it ends up, it's surprising, but it's actually the same thing.
I'll change like one upgrade. One relic.
You'll drop the Entropic Lance off the Chrono.
I wish Chaos had like more. They need releases. They need some love. I need some love for Chaos.
Wish that Chaos army had something going for it.
I wish Tyranids would get attention. There's so many armies I want to play, and they all are getting ignored because we gotta be Imperial all the time. Space Marines. You hear me, Six?
The Space Marines.
The Space Marines. So right now, I think we're going to wash this girl a little bit. Oh, she's kind of already been washed. Damn.
You gotta put a double wash on.
No, I don't think it's the double wash. We'll hit it with some alien purple. That's what we'll do. Alien purple. This is what Gene Stealers are made of.
This Tech Marine has so many bits and bobs on them.
Bits and bobs.
Yeah, look at this.
Yeah. Those are like my least favorite types of things to paint. Bits and bobs.
Yeah. Well, there's just so many little things all
It's
over.
tedious for no reason.
Yeah.
Very tedious. So...
Uh,
we got another super chat?
Yeah, $5 super chat from Mr. Clown Mode. He says, in a tournament, what is appropriate for takebacks? Obviously, we want no gotchas, but at what point is it on your opponent to eat their mistake? This is something you definitely have to discuss with your opponent before the game begins. Usually, I ask my opponent, I tell them I'm perfectly fine with doing takebacks as long as I get the same treatment as you. I don't really care. But if you want to play a super tight game, I'm fine with playing super tight too.
Yeah, it's important to have that conversation and be on the same page with your opponent. The way I kind of do the line for myself is if it's a tactical error or a strategic error, no, this is a strategy-based war game. You're gonna have to own those mistakes. If it's a careless error, I don't like to punish people for those. Partly maybe because I'm a little bit careless myself, and I like that kind of give and take. But like if I'm playing Siegs and I know he's of the caliber of player who knows how to screen and is mindful of it and has the units to do it, but he left his last couple inches of his deployment zone uncovered because he didn't move his 4 servitors properly. He kind of just did it carelessly, for lack of a better word, or for the correct word. I might be like, yeah, just do it if you asked, because I know you could do it. You know you could do it. This is stupid for me to try to take advantage of.
It's especially the case when they say, all right, so I'm screening out your things, blah, 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 and... you can come in like X, Y, and Z, so I'll have this blocked out, and for whatever reason, it was like a sliver in that you could actually fit, like a small unit, and you're like, nah, I knew what your intent was.
Yeah.
Most people will just tell you what their intent is, and then there's no mystery. You just make sure it happens, and that's the best way to play, is just, all right, so I'm going to try and screen you out here, make sure it's possible with the units that I have left, and they're going to have to be in these positions. So you'll be able to get firing angles this way and this way on that unit, but if you come around this way, you won't actually be able to shoot them away for the next turn. Stuff like that. And you work out a whole process.
A great example of what I would absolutely always let go, unless we're really just being rude to each other, is that, like, you go to the charge phase, and your opponent gets excited about a charge, and he declares it, and then he fights it, and then he's like, oh, I forgot to declare my other 3 charges. It's like, you could win the game right there, but also don't be a jerk. Just, we all know what the intent was here.
Yeah. Or it's the case where there's like there's a couple major fights going on in the middle of the table, but there's actually one crucial one going on behind this terrain feature on the other side of the table, and of course, inevitably, your opponent's going to forget about that one, because it's hidden behind this ruin.
And he knows it's important.
And it knows it's important.
It's not out of sight, out of mind. Yeah.
But we're going to go with the flashy one in the middle of the table, and then all of a sudden realize that one didn't happen. It's like, you'll resolve it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm not going to... And then you're going to go be like, I'm going to spend 2 CP to interrupt. Your opponent's going to look at you like, oh, I completely forgot they were there. Don't take advantage of that. That's not a nice thing to do. Like, you don't want to win because your opponent doesn't have X-ray vision. Do you have X-ray vision?
I do. This is one of the perks.
This is why you don't forget things like this. Should we ban robots? I think this is a topic of today's paint stream. Let's get it topical. Let's get it heated. A lot of times we want to stay away from politics and debates and things like that, but let's talk about it today. Should we ban robots from competitive 40K?
Robots are essential.
Why are robots essential, Siegs?
Because they bring such flair and panache, consistency.
Flair and panache. What flair or panache do you bring?
Did you see the flair and panache with those Rostockers
flying across the board? Did you see me walking around in a suit? That's flair and panache. That's not robotic.
Did you see my objective markers with Nick Nanavati's face on them?
You're using me, the organic creature of the room, to bring your flair and panache to you.
The amount of people that came to my table to take pictures with them.
My face is beautiful. I don't know what to say.
I was busting out the big memes.
I would like your input, chat. Please interact with us and tell me what your thoughts on robots and competitive 40K.
Gundam's 100% right, though. Pointing out his gray hairs, then telling people that if you want to watch GSC win, watch Nick's games. Sieg's leaving no survivors in today's stream. There's no prisoners here, okay? John got like a 4 on no prisoners against Necrons yesterday. There are no prisoners.
Why do you talk, Siegs? Why don't you just be friendly with us? Usually I have to deal with Jock and John's sass, and that's quite a lot. But then
my sass is clever though.
It is clever. They're just chipmunks just nibbling at you. Just like technically correct. Jesus Christ.
Let's see. What if they drop Necron Warriors from 4 up to a 3 up save? It would be good. No doubt. I don't think they need to do that though. I'm perfectly fine with them keeping it as 4 up armor. I think the tools around them, like the Resorb, should be cheaper. I think a lot of Necron upgrades could do with being cheaper. A lot of those Cryptek upgrades.
A lot of Necron upgrades?
No.
Oh. You sure?
You were a basic lord.
I'm a Canoptic Lord.
You're the Scorpec Lord?
Yeah.
You're a twisted Hulk of just angry metal.
If I was in the 40k universe, I would be a crew.
You would be the plasma site that follows.
No.
Yes.
Definitely not.
Plasma site. My plasma site is a backstabbing, conniving plasma site. It's killed so many Scorpec destroyers out of nowhere.
Are you saying I'm lying, conniving?
No, you're not that Scorpec destroyer. You're just a Scorpec destroyer. Not Scorpec. You're
plasma site.
You're a plasma site.
Just a generic plasma site.
Yep.
Indistinguishable.
Mm-hmm. You know, you're really a servitor, though. Honestly,
I am not.
You're like my little servitor that I've been slowly training up. We're slowly working on.
Servitors are mindless and willless. You think I'm willless? Like I just go do stuff.
When technology is involved.
Okay. I've servitor.
You eventually, you're just like whatever Seek says goes. Like you can.
You tell me.
Even the smallest problem comes up. He's like, I can't do this, Seek.
It's not the smallest problem. I solved the smallest problems.
The mouse isn't working. Seeks, come here. Oh, it's working now. No. The keyboard's not working. Like, Nick, you're just typing it. I'm like, I literally walked into the room, started typing into his Excel document. I'm like, Nick, it's completely working.
It was not working.
This is what I get called for. So when I'm not here and it's an absolute
there was a stream
emergency.
There was a stream game yesterday, or like last week, where Siegs was playing, and he was playing against Mark or Jack or something. In the middle of the stream game, the camera just turns yellow. The landscape camera is yellow. Everything's yellow. Like, you can still see the kind of what's going on, but it's very, very yellow. And I'm like, Siegs, come here, it's yellow. And Siegs is like, what the hell are you talking about? And he takes like 6 steps towards me, peers his head across to see what the camera was showing, and it instantly turns back to normal. I can't make that up. He's got some Omnissiah powers.
I do. I
Like,
make the proper
it's
chance.
6-inch aura. If you're within 6 feet of Siegs, it works.
You obey.
Make look like an idiot.
It's the exaltations of the Omnissiah.
This is though, like, that's not a human power. This is, humans don't have this capability. You do. So like, you're a robot from the future. Are you from the future? I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm not from the future.
That's what someone from the future would say to keep the timeline continuous. You can't admit to that.
I'm from your present.
No. Now I'm confused. Is that another super chat? Do we have more? Oh, there's more. Just chatter. Chatter
We got
amongst
lots
us.
of chat.
Lots of chat.
Loving the content, guys. I love the re-exploring the Hive Mind articles on your website recently that emphasize Kraken Gene Stealers plus Twisted Helix GSC. Has this idea continued to progress?
Honestly, that is an idea proposed mostly by Alex McDougall and Eric Lathuris from Australia. I haven't chatted with them in a minute about the Tyranids, but I did see Alex has been doing well. He just won a GT recently, and Eric, this coming weekend, is really showing off his chops. He's randomly rolled some of the units in his army. He literally took a die to the Codex and just said, I'm going to play you, and you, and you, and you. He's got a Hive Tyrant and Tyrant Guard and all kinds of weird stuff in there. So I think he will do well.
John, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, John, where are you going?
Gundam has told us that enjoyed the stream game, and he's going to ask for the stream match until John wins.
Well, let me play the Necrons next time.
No. You must overcome.
You must overcome as a true custodian.
Alright.
Do it on Overrun.
Alright. Is it on Overrun every time?
Scouring. Let's get the scouring, baby.
I would rather play the Skyrim than Overrun.
Really?
Overrun's horrible.
Overrun is horrible.
John, if you're hanging out, you can take Bella out of there. If you're able to, yeah.
Alright. Did you ever figure out why you had the chipmunk voice on Monday, Mr. Siegs? I did, because Bella happened to be under there one of the days, and things were not fully plugged in on the bottom.
What happened? Bella got in here?
No, on the other stream PC.
Oh.
She was laying under there,
Uh-huh.
and some of the sound equipment wasn't fully plugged in, so it sounded not 100%.
We've since instituted a rule of no Bella in the stream room, but she does not understand that rule. No respect for that whatsoever.
As you saw before, she was about to unplug all this stuff. So everything was fixed with the stream game. Imagine if they made a DeepMind AI that could crush everybody at 40k like they did for chess, Go, and StarCraft.
What do you think this guy is? I live with him. They're like, Nick, you just, why aren't you winning with the Death Guard versus the AdMech? I'm like, because I'm playing against Deep Blue. This is not possible.
Who said that?
I'm just talking smack, making things up. But people say this. People say this.
Well, it's good because they expect highly of you.
No. They expect unrealistic from me. Like, you can't. You can't beat the robot. It's no, you can. I've beaten Siegs millions of times. Millions. Billions even. You can't even go 5-3 with your card. At least 5-3.
What would happen when I actually just win the event and have more wins with Jukari than you? Tournament wins, that is. Does the universe implode at that point, or do I just get like a throne? Do I get to transform your bedroom into a throne room?
I am gonna get the Towner out of there.
The Towner is still in Nick's bedroom for anybody who's been following for a while.
I'm gonna get that guy out of there.
He's in there still. It's been months.
It's now only a matter of time, perhaps days.
Nick has more Tao in his bedroom than anybody else in this house.
Only for a moment. A brief, fleeting moment in the long scope that is history. That is time. Timeless. Timeless Tao.
He almost has as much Tao as there is in the actual stream room.
There's so much Tao in the stream room.
On that one, I only have one shelf for the Tao. The Towner's a lot of points now.
Oh, look who it is. Speak of the devil. Oh, hello, baby girl. Hi. Oh, you got nibbles.
I've been finished up painting Grey Knights for Iron Halo. They have a plethora of bits and bobs. Yes, but they do actually look quite good. And once you throw some Nuln Oil on them, perfect.
Nuln Oil.
Nuln Oil is magic for silver. Lead Belcher, Nuln Oil, what a combo.
Combo wombo?
There's not a more iconic duo than that. We got a £5 super chat from Vician. Siegs, if you were going to LGT, what sort of AdMech list would you take on that terrain? Because LGT terrain has a lot of firing lanes and angles, I probably would try and go for a Mars list. I'd still run the veteran cohort because I think it's that powerful. But if you follow our Discord channel with AdMech, I posted some Mars lists in there. But I wouldn't go crazy on the Iron Striders like some people do. I like the solo ones just for max efficiency, and I also don't like the flyers very much. I just don't like the potential of going second and playing down a lot of points. So I would try and build a cohort list that had a lot of Cerberus Raiders, Rustalkers for my counter assault, and they're going to get sent across the map with Magi and Eyes of the Omnissiah, and the Canic Thrallnet, and have a bunch of solo Iron Striders. I think a unit of Sulfur Rounds is really good in Mars too.
You know what's better in Mars than all those things?
What?
A space station.
A what?
A space station.
Space station?
Yeah. You want to put your space station on Mars because that's what they're trying to colonize.
You got to colonize Mars.
Yeah. It's a lot like how I studied astrophysics for some time last year.
Sometime.
Sometime. I did. There was some time when I was studying astrophysics. I could speak highly of it, actually, if you would like me to.
Speak well of it.
Speak highly.
Highly.
Is that another super chat I see? Another one?
This is the one that I just answered about AdMech, but
thank you.
Definitely Mars. I don't think Metallica is quite as good because what Metallica likes is having two sides of the board with nice line of sight blocking terrain where you can just walk inside, you get cover, and you can use it as launching points. It looks like on LGT terrain there's basically one ruin in your deployment zone and then one in the middle that you can leap to, and that's a mono-directional type of battle that you're fighting. Metallica likes being able to threaten from multiple angles.
I think the Art of War Flamingo Pool Floaty is the same color as Warlock Purple.
I think it's a little darker. There's a part that's lighter. That's close.
Yeah, but I mean, this is multiple shades of pink here. I think we're going with an average. This is the important stuff. This is going in our style guide.
The pink flamingo?
The pink flamingo is part of the aesthetic.
Who remembers the pink flamingo?
I do.
All the music?
That is the iconic. That's where it all began. It's the daily paint stream, the grind.
We were in my office, which happened to be Nick's bedroom as well.
I slipped in Siegs' office. That's disrespect. That's how you know it's really my office, because I'm taking naps in there.
How you know whose office it is that when it's up at, when you're up at 11 p.m. and Nick's trying to go to sleep, but you need painting done. Getting that painting done, no problem.
That never happened.
That did happen.
But I do remember there was one day I wasn't feeling well, and I came upstairs and I was like, I'm gonna take a nap. And then Siegs was just in there painting, and I was like, Siegs, nap time.
I'm a quiet person though.
You did. You didn't care. You just painted while I napped. It was weird. That's okay.
I'm your guardian angel. Looking over an Anavati.
No, I don't need no. I got the Warp Storm. It's got me through years. Years of service on the Warp Storm. Do you believe in the Warp Storm, Siegs?
No.
No, like none. You don't think there's any sort of extra
I'm a true
powers?
Necron. I despise the warp.
Okay, you can hate it, but do you believe in its existence? Do you acknowledge its power?
I don't acknowledge its power.
How can you hate it if you don't acknowledge it?
I'm going to get as much Noctilith as possible and spread it throughout the galaxy.
That did not answer the question. But you're a politician, you are.
I answer the questions I want to answer.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Not that question. Here's the biggest question. Do I have to listen to Nick's catchphrase in New Orleans?
You might have to listen to a new catchphrase. We'll see. You'll definitely be listening to the sultry tones of Nick Nanavati. Get your ASMR going. But what the catchphrase will be, we shall see.
Were you asked to do a new catchphrase, or?
No, they don't ask me to do any of this stuff. I take some liberties with this job.
Nick's seen what he can get away with. Power bottoms.
They
Power bottoms.
power bottoms. They gave me strict guidelines on what I can and can't do, and you know what? Power bottoms weren't on there.
See, they didn't think of that.
They didn't think of
You gotta have a really wide open mind when you're dealing with Nick.
I didn't think of that. I didn't plan to say that.
You just found the moment and you're like, power bottoms works here.
It works. It's important to be adaptable. If you're not adaptable, then what are you? Rigid?
Cold and calculating.
Cold and calculated? Inhuman, perhaps? Robotic? Interesting.
What I want to know is if Nick finally learned what Rustalkers do. Because I went back and watched the stream, as I do. And hilariously, he combined the Infiltrators with Rustalkers. And so it combined to a new unit called Infilstalkers. And man, are they brutal. I wish AdMech had access to those guys.
They're pretty good.
It's
So
like-
Rustalkers...
So they come in here. They got exploding 5s and 6s. And they do mortals as well. And it's all AP3 and 1,000 damage. And like, I wish that unit existed.
It does exist. You used it to win GW Orlando. It's on stream. So I can tell you what Rustalkers do because I learned from my failures. Rustalkers they have the taser goads, which means they explode on 6s. You can spend a CP to make them explode on 5s. And then they do mortals on 6s to wound. And because they have Tesla, that's so many attacks. And then, is there a way to get the mortals on 5s? There is, right? No.
No, okay. But you said that on stream.
Okay.
You said all of that on stream in an entire string.
They're not AP3 because that's the power swords on the Infiltrators, which is the other unit which Siegs dropped.
Yeah, he combined every rule from Infiltrators and Rustalkers into the same thing and added a +1 to wound that actually proc mortals on 5s and 6s.
You like that? That's how I learned. I follow your doings.
That was brutal.
So talk to me about these Grey Knights. I gotta learn what these do.
They got 2 guns, and they do the pew-pew. They shoot a lot.
You're not being specific.
They got 12 shots over here, 8 shots over here. They can increase the strength and AP of those guns.
What's the base strength on AP of those guns?
Strength 8, AP 2, 2 damage. Strength 5, AP 1, 1 damage.
Okay.
They can get another +1 damage through a psychic power.
Okay. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's 24-inch range.
It's fine. They have 4 pinballs, all of them?
Yep, 2 up armor.
Alright.
13 wounds.
13 wounds, you said.
Yeah, 13 wounds. It's
not...
a nice area to be. Take 3 Dark Lances. Nick, what's the point of screening Honestly Not a Body? I'm not even joking, Corey. I still have not. I've not gone back to the early streams. It was in one of the earlier streams at Orlando. But if anybody finds that clip, please do let me know.
Which one?
The power bottom clip.
That's not in the. It's the last. It's actually pretty easy to find. It's the last, 2 minutes of the last stream of Saturday's game. Is the last thing I did before I signed up on Saturday.
Talk about power bottom.
Yeah. Saturday was awesome. We're finally hitting our stride. We're kicking ass. And then I just dropped power bottoms at the end of it.
All right. I am going to check that out. We need that clip. How do you feel about Gaz on an orc list with 8+ buggies and truck boys with Squig Boss and the Squig Riders?
Gaz, buggies, orcs, Squig Riders?
Gaz buggy list.
Gaz buggy list. I actually was working on if Gaz works in the buggy list. He's okay. You definitely can run him. Getting both logs is pretty strong, and he kind of distracts people from shooting the buggies, or he just lives longer. The problem is there's certain armies, and quite a few number of them, Admech, Thousand Sons, Grey Knights, I'm sure, Eldar. A lot of armies can do Mortal Wounds and Multiple Faces Sisters too, and that's terrible for Gaz. So he just dies a little too quick for his points, unfortunately. But I do think buggies as the core to an orc list. Not even necessarily 18 of the things. That's insanity. But 6 buggies is a great core to an orc list. I think so. I do. Do you think so, Siegs?
Yeah, I think so.
Siegs thinks so.
They're just efficient platforms. They're relatively durable for their points. They just take more damage than you would want to spend on them.
Yeah, in mass they add up to doing real damage. And they have a weird amount of damage in combat, which makes them tricky.
Yeah, and tagging them with just really cheap nonsense doesn't really work.
Yeah. Which is great, because that would be a number 1 solution to them.
Yeah, you need to send actually something pretty durable into them. Black Templar Soul Terminators. Get them in.
No, not those. Please no, not those.
Get them in there. Let's see. Nick needs a safety word during stream.
I do need a safety word during stream. I need a safety word in this house. This place gets hostile. I live with animals. Robots and animals.
Richard is saying, I just remember getting a meeting invite from GW after that comment. Val and I.
Excellent. All I know is that I still work for them. They haven't fired me yet, so that's good. I get to commentate still. What's this Dread Knight doing?
It's just getting all the look at all these
wires
and pipes.
Wow! Look at all these Harlequins. I spent the same amount of time painting one Harlequin. It's the best looking model in your army. Better looking than your entire Grand army. That one Harlequin.
It's definitely not better looking than Crow.
It's maybe not Crow. Crow is pretty nice. Crow is nice. See, I give you credit. This one has a caress.
Beast Boss plus the Dino Squig.
Beast Boss plus the Dino Squig.
How do you feel about the Dino Squigs?
I like them. I do. I think they're perfectly good. They're a little move blockable, which is always an issue with orcs. I'm recently actually really liking the Mega Armored bosses because they're so tough to kill, actually. And in either Freebooters or Deskills, they're OBSEC, and that's tough to kill. OBSEC goes miles, especially with the character keyword. So I like that a lot. That's kind of, and they're infantry, which is a big thing in orcs. But from a straight up hitting offense standpoint, you can't get better than the Dino people.
Can my AdMech list mulch through 30 Lich Guard? Absolutely. Single Rustalker unit will kill a lot of Lich Guard. I'd probably just trade 1 for 1 because Lich Guard are 280 points for 10, and 10 Rustalkers is 170. I'll make that trade every day. But the Rustalker unit will obliterate the Lich Guard.
Rustalkers.
That's not counting any shooting whittling them down. Harlequins are such good. Their kits don't cost a lot for what you get, mostly because they haven't been hit by the GW price increases yet.
Harlequins are a pretty cost-effective army to try to purchase. Like this, I got a Harlequin army for like $300, so that was cool. And now we're finally working on it.
Yeah, you didn't have to buy the bikes too, because John had the bikes.
I own the bikes. John's are just painted and built, and mine are like...
Oh, that's right. You primed them, and they never saw the light of day after that.
Mine are in pieces, unfortunately. So, like, that's a whole thing.
That's not a surprise. Eventually, Nick will have a fully painted Harlequins army.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Warboss Mega Armor, Artis Nails, Death Skull, Cyberborg Body, Dark Eldar bounce off him. How do you feel about Orcs vs. Dark Eldar?
Well, Mark and I just played it last night. He's trying to do a very balanced approach. I haven't had any trouble with my Dark Eldar into balanced Orc armies, but I have struggled a bit with like the truly heinous spam amount of buggies. So I think it's a critical mass issue. There comes a point where Dark Eldar can't take the indirect fire, and until you reach that point, they're too fast for the Orcs. But once you reach the point where you're picking them up quickly enough, regardless of what they're, where they're hiding, I think that's a tipping point for Dark Eldar in that match.
So you think they're favored until
I think they're favored.
Spammed.
I think they're favored into the Dark Eldar is favored into balanced Orcs, and they're less favored into very skewed into Ruckatruck Orcs. But skewing into Ruckatrucks has its own variety of problems. Also, it's kind of stupid. Just throw that out there. Siegs.
Yes.
I was just saying Siegs. You gotta keep saying Siegs so you remember your name. It's like how Bella, we're teaching her name, so we keep calling her by her name. Gotta do the same thing for you.
I know my name.
What's your name? That's what I thought.
King. The Silent King.
Silent King. Shing-ling-a-ding. Bing-a-bong-ging-a-bong.
Please drop the Silent King's points. I want that back again.
What color should her hair be, Siegs?
Are you doing it by squads? They have different hair?
Well, that was the original goal, but because I've taken so long to paint them all, they all kind of have rainbow hair now.
That's going to be a great way to tell the squads apart.
Well...
Why don't you get back to that? Just start now.
Part of it is that their weapons are all over the place also. So if I ever want to be WYSIWYG, it's going to be very challenging to do that and do squad colorings because I'm trying to do two different things and I can never really change my weapons. So I kind of don't want to lock myself into squads via paint, and I'll have to figure out some other mechanism for telling them apart. Because of the WYSIWYG issue.
I mean, I feel like any of the brighter colors work. Like their hair should be...
My hair should definitely be a brighter color. I agree.
So I could see like a bright red.
Bright red on this one. I was thinking a yellow or a ghosty color.
I could see orange too.
Orange. I want to vote from the chat. Chat, what do you think her hair color should be? In the meantime,
Jet black.
I will paint her cloak. No, jet black. She's not a jet black kind of lady. Not a jet black. The problem is, I think she wants to be a purple hair, but she's already wearing purple everything, so I don't want to put more purple on her.
You could put a very different shade of purple.
That's what I was thinking, a very different purple. Like a lavender, because this is more lavender.
Yeah, really light, whitish purple.
This is a pinkish, really.
Grey Knights, yeah, they are also fairly cost efficient when you're buying them. It's because it's just based around a couple kits too. It's pretty easy to have a lot of options saved up. Like I have tons of halberds saved because it wasn't a very good option for a while, and now I can just convert all mine back to halberds.
I wonder when Harlequins will get new rules. When do you think that'll be, Siegs?
A while, like they haven't shown up whatsoever.
Like, you think it'll be next year?
Yeah, I feel like next year.
You don't think it'd be 2 years from now, though, right? Like, not forever long.
No, I feel like they should have all the books out next year.
I hope so. It'd be unfortunate.
Really, I hope they just put the books out and just put a hold on these campaign supplements for a hot minute.
I agree.
Like, let's just get the codexes. Let's get everybody with new rules before we double up.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
That's just absurd.
Admech have so many different rules, and Harlequins and Chaos. All of Chaos. Don't even get me started on Chaos.
Well, there's a lot of struggling Xenos factions. GSC, Tau. They need a lot of...
Tau aren't struggling. Tau are the best army in the game.
Okay.
They got shield drones.
When they're the best army in the game, you are willing to put everything on the line against John on a bet to try and win with Tau.
We played with fake rules. It was half 8th edition, half 9th edition. The half of 9th edition was the no fallback and shoot. That was a pretty big deal.
They're broken now.
They're broken.
Nick's confidence in Tau is just amazing.
Now, Tau, you can't sleep on Tau. When you sleep on Tau, Siege shows up and whoops you. What happened to ACO? You know who didn't sleep on Tau? This man, because I played him in all those practice games. I was like, I know what this stuff does. Trap, 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 trap. Can't go near any of that. 5 witches. Try to tie up a devilfish. Oh, that's not going to work. Well, abandon plan. We'll try to salvage this. Succubus. Yeah, she's just going to die.
She's just dead. So, Nick, you want to attack all this other stuff? No, I'm good.
No. I killed 5 Pathfinders. That was a great trade. That's how you win, though. That's how you win. I won that game.
Purple plus a wild or red or something. People like the red idea.
All right, let's do the red. Wild red.
There's some popularity for yellow or lavender, too.
Okay.
What's considered a balanced orc list? I have 8 buggies, 4 indirect, 4 scrapjets, blood axes plus death skulls. Is that considered balanced while freeboot is buggies, planes is skew?
I mean, it's kind of like a spectrum, right? It's like a sliding scale. Like, the more buggies you have, the more skewed into taking buggies you are. The more vehicles you have, the more skewed into taking vehicles you are. So it's all subjective. What's balanced is to one person is different to another. I would say 8 buggies is kind of on the heavy buggy end. Heavier. But could you run 18 buggies? Yeah, absolutely. So relative to that, you're still pretty balanced. But when I think of, like, balanced torques, I'm thinking, like, 3 rocket trucks. But if you have 8 buggies and like 4 rocket trucks and 4 other ones, that's not a bad amount. That's probably pretty decent in Dark Eldar. I don't know if that's even enough, to be honest, for the critical mass aspect I'm talking about, but generally speaking, it's not a bad number.
It just means that there are other parts of your list that have to just make up the slack.
There's no slack. No slack in here, Seeks.
But yeah, if you run multiple planes and just every buggy possible, that is hard skew.
Hard skew.
You were trying to go first. When you build a list that wants to go first in every matchup, that's skew.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
If it's always better going first or going second, regardless of other conditions, you've skewed. That is a great way to tell.
No more scenic murder models with paint.
What does that mean? I don't murder models. I'm delicately stroking these harlequins. These brushes.
Nick, what's your favorite Thousand Suns cult?
Cult of Duplicality. Ask Mark.
Duplicality.
Duplicality. I like Mutation. I think it's really underrated. But I think Duplicality, which is really duplicity, I think that one is definitely the best one. Well, at least, maybe not the best one, but it's the one you have to take because teleporting is the only mobility you have, so you gotta bring it.
How many Mutilith Vortex pieces?
Triple Mutilith Vortex piece.
Triple?
Triple.
Are they still Wobby stands?
Every list starts with 3. They must be your Wobby stands. If you want, you can exchange one of them being your Wobby stands for Magnus.
Do you actually like Magnus?
No. I have read him twice, and every time I'm like, where are the rest of his rules? I feel like they just took Magnus, and then, like Magnus's previous incarnation, took away Warp Time, took away the 3 Binvul, and left him the same. I was like, I just don't... Am I missing something? Like, maybe I'm missing something.
He doesn't take perils anymore.
No, I don't... No.
That would have... If John took perils, he would have killed his own Magnus.
In the previous incarnation, Magnus ignored perils on 2+. It's the same exact thing.
Hey.
No, don't hate. Okay. I'm gonna roll double 1s, then I'm gonna roll D3 mortals, then I'm gonna roll more 1s.
Don't doubt the ability to roll 1s.
I'm sorry, he actually rerolls 1s. He's gonna roll double 6s, then do it. Or roll double 1s twice. What a guy. That would suck. I've done that before.
Did he go down in cost, or he's still the same?
He's $450 still.
Yeah.
Like he's just the same, but like worse.
He's pricey.
Yeah.
He's in the same boat as the Silent King. It's just the game is not really made for those types of big models. They have to have just silly rolls.
Yeah, I agree.
In order to live at like an 18 plus wound thing. Like at least the Silent King has access to obscuring rolls, just due to how he's designed. But even then, it's like as soon as he pops his head out, you're gonna have a bad time, and that's unfortunate. Let's see. Hey guys, I know Cult of Time is probably the most used cult for Thousand Sons. Besides that one, which other one is worth taking?
I think that's a mistake personally, but I'll admit that I'm not the one crushing turnips with Thousand Sons here. But I think you need Cult of Duplicity for the movement, the teleportation strat. I think that opens up so many hit and run plays with your sorcerers. You can get line of sight, get a good angle, you make someone else the closest, smite the crap out of somebody, and then get back to safety. You can run up and do the mutation secondary on an objective on your opponent's side of the board, and then get yourself back to safety. You can alpha strike people with Warp Flame or Rubric Marines. You can get yourself out of traps. Siegs, the possibilities. How good is Veil?
It's very good.
How good
It's by
is
far the
Solar
best
Flare?
relic they have.
How good is Solar Flare?
If it was a generic relic, it would be amazing, and you would take it in every list.
So,
but it's not.
What if every unit in your army could Solar Flare once per turn? Like any unit of your choice could just do it once per turn.
Are we saying that's a faction trait?
I'm saying this is what Bing Duplicity gets you.
Yeah.
So you should do that. You should do that.
That's just good.
Just good.
Mobility wins you games.
40k. What phase is it won in Lost in Siegs?
Shooting phase.
No, the movement phase. And where do we teach that stuff?
The heroic intervention step, Nick.
God damn Siegs.
We teach that in the war room, where you can watch John Lennon pull off every shenanigan in the book, and Nick watch it happen.
Absolutely.
No, but seriously, we teach strategy sessions on all this stuff, so there's been some really good ones recently as well. Nick has done an entire series on
missions.
All the different missions, what you need to know going to every single mission, which has been very popular.
Yeah, very well received, which means you should listen to it because it's good. It teaches you how to win the games. Do the thing. Be your best self. Be the best version of yourself. I should become a motivational speaker. You could become a motivational Siegser.
What does a Siegser do?
You Siegsify stuff?
What is a Siegsify?
Siegsification is the process by which one becomes a robot. So it starts, if you're organic, a process is very painful. You first rip out all of your organs, then your free will becomes gone, and then...
do I look like I don't have free will?
You are but a slave to your own programming, and you don't even know it. Someone created you, and you obey them.
I'm the master of the programming, Nick. I'm plugged into the mainframe.
One could say that I am the one who pulls the strings, the puppet master.
Your dad wouldn't agree.
He doesn't know that. He doesn't know anything. Don't bring him up.
He will give me that responsibility, and I will...
Discipline.
I'll accept the mantle of responsibility. I'll make sure Nick gets his documents in before 2 hours before the meeting.
It was early. I had time to spare.
He wanted it within 24 hours of the
Yeah, he wants. Yeah. He doesn't run this business.
He runs Nick's business. Let's see. How do I feel going into Freebooter spam? Seem like good into T3 armies? They're great into T3 armies. Very scary list. I think on boards where you can move block them easily and slow them down, you can limit the amount of damage that they can do. You could go more transport heavy if you want. You could go for something like Styges, which gets you an inbuilt defensive modifier, and you get access to redeploy and putting things... you could play a more Alpha Strike style where you just put everything in the middle of the table with the CP. Or at least put your important units up there. So, AdMech have options. You just have to think about what your local meta is like. $5 super chat from Matto. Thank you so much, Matt. What is the best way to disrupt Drukhari on Vital Intelligence? That seems like a mission designed for them to succeed on.
Vital Intelligence is really tough for Drukhari. Or it's really tough to play Drukhari on.
Now, if you want the best examples, check out some of the games we played in the War Room. I have beaten Nick on Vital Intelligence on several occasions, including AdMech vs. Drukhari, where I gave you...
When did this happen? I don't remember this one.
This is the one where I played I think I played the custom one against you. Remember the one where I just kept giving you zeros? I even got you... went into your deployment zone, knocked your banner down on your home objective with Cerberus Raiders.
I really don't.
And gave you a 0.
YouTube or War Room?
War Room.
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah.
You gotta learn from your mistakes and then forget about it.
This is the one where you deployed a lot of your racks in that one area, and I was just like, teleport, shoot them with Cerberus Raiders.
That wasn't Vital, that was Battle Lines.
No, that was Vital Intelligence.
That was Battle Lines.
There were two objectives down there.
No.
Would we like to make a bet on this?
I'll bet a pub sub on this.
Okay.
Okay.
Shake on it. Let's bring it up.
Bring it up. Bring it up the tapes.
Let's find the tapes. Alright.
But while you're finding tapes, do tell them how to beat Drukhari on Vital Intelligence, because that is one of their strongest missions, in my opinion.
You need fast mobile elements that can trade into Drukhari that don't instantly die. So things like Cerberus Raiders are amazing at that. If you're playing Tal, like Remora drones are really good because they can block off the objectives, so they can't just move advance onto them or fire and fade onto them. Stuff like that. You need to slow down their scoring. If you slow down their scoring in the first 2 turns, so they instantly don't start on those objectives and just hold the 10 each turn, then they're really hard to deal with because Drukhari have amazing secondaries. You need to be able to slow down the primary score, and that comes with fast mobile elements that Drukhari doesn't get very good tools to react with. If you're playing flyers, same thing. You can just take a bomber base and block the objective off so that they can't get easily onto it. So stuff like that.
Are you talking about the game that when Chester was here for the RTT?
No, we played Battle Lines on that.
Oh, that's the one I'm talking about. Which one are you talking about?
We played on Vital Intelligence, AdMech vs. Drukhari.
In that tournament?
No, not in that tournament, just in the War Room.
I don't know about this. How long ago?
Don't worry.
How long ago?
I'll get it.
I don't want you to get it. I'm having buyer's remorse in this bet.
We're going to find out. I think it was in June. AdMech vs. Sisters. AdMech vs. Drukhari coaching game.
Yeah, that's right, June. This sounds...
Let's see.
I don't know about all this.
Vital Intelligence!
Hold on.
AdMech
Who won this game?
Let's
Hold
go.
on. Is this the new AdMech book?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
It's called... You have 0-0-0-0 on primary. I have 10-5-5 and good secondaries.
What happened in this
You got
game?
annihilated. Remember?
Hold on. No. Like, tell me what happened. Like, go to the middle. I want to see the board state. Then I might come back to me. What?
Remember? I had... The last chickens came up here, turn 2, killed the 2 raiders there. I have the Cerberus Raiders blocking this off. You went for like a trap play here, and then I hit you with Rust Stalkers.
Yeah, I really don't remember this at all.
Well, you're giving me a pupso, so that's okay. Congrats.
This is terrible.
Nick versus the memory.
Damn it.
Sigs, have you ever questioned the nature of your reality? Never. My reality is perfect.
That means I'm perfect.
I'm like
a big part of it.
I'm like Dolores from Westworld. I love my reality.
That means I'm a big part of that. That means you like me.
Yeah. If I didn't like you, I'd tell you.
You're never unsure if Steve likes you. Let's say that. When this man doesn't like you, when this robot doesn't like you, he engages I don't like you protocol.
How do you guys feel about the state of the game? The Art of War Down Under guys have quite a rinsing, but I don't think it's as bad as they say. But then again, I haven't played a lot of games. Honestly, it's so in the grand scheme of competitive 40K, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I think
It's not that bad.
Like,
there are armies that are stronger and just have a better chance of winning, but they're not impossible to defeat. Even a couple when Drukhari first came out, and it was just Drukhari are better than everything else in the game. Even then isn't as bad as sometimes it's been in the past. 8th edition for the most part was pretty good. Early on it wasn't great, and then at the end of it with Marines, it wasn't great. 7th edition was just abysmal, apparently.
Balance is like a moving target. You never really hit it, and it's always fleeting. But closer or further you get from it is basically how good or bad your addition is. Relative to how imbalanced 40K has been in the past in its history, which it survived, this game is like really, really well balanced. Like I'm talking, there were like 2 or 3 lists in the game that were competitive, and they were all based on spamming models with like 2 reroll invulns that teleport. It was the dumbest game ever. And like it's been in places where there's 400 brimstones on the table, or 200 cultists, or poxwalkers that become cultists, or whatever.
Cultists that become poxwalkers.
Like 9 flyers running tables, and now
poxwalkers becoming cultists.
Poxwalkers becoming cultists.
You can't have that.
And now we have Admech who are really good, Jakari who's really good, and Buggies are stupid. And then a lot of other armies are capable of hanging. That's actually pretty healthy in the grand scheme of the game.
The fact that I can go to ACO and go 7-1 with Tau, like, come on. Like, there is play. You can. Alex McDougall just won a GT with Forces of the High Mind.
It's because they're the best army in the game.
Yeah, so, like, it is possible to win with the lesser factions. I think part of the reason that Adam and the guys and we are frustrated is because it could be that much better. We know it can be better, and we know that we could do it, very easily. Like, for instance, if we just sat down, we said this weekend we are going to rebalance the game on points, we could knock that out, and the game would be in a much better spot.
No way. That'd be a way more than weekend problem.
John and I?
Right, if you could just set your mind to an agree on everything,
Yeah.
sure, but there's no way.
It's all small tweaks. There's nothing huge. We're not like nerfing factions out of the ground. Small tweaks here and there, but a lot of just buffing up things so before they get a codex, they actually have more play.
Well, we don't have this kind of magic wand, so...
We don't have that magic wand. But if we, that's what's frustrating, though. We can envision what the game should look like, and the reality is we have to sit 6 months waiting for that vision to become a reality, and by that point, there's new stuff that's already, a little too powerful and not going to get addressed for a while. It's the lack of... They should be doing the patches every, 2-3 months. They should be doing small patches. Nothing major, not nerfing factions out of the ground, no nerf hammer, just small things here and there. A lot of just bringing things up. Like, oops, the Grey Knight Codex came out and Terminators are wildly overpriced. We know. Let's just accept we made the mistake, bring them back down to 38, let it go.
No.
And no, instead it's going to last for a year that they sit on 42 points. Eventually they'll go down. That's frustrating. So, that's what I'm more frustrated about. It's not the game is in an awful spot. It's that a couple things are a little too strong and a lot of things just aren't good enough. And small tweaks could actually bring them into a place where a lot of stuff is viable, and then the meta is so healthy because it's all about you trying to counter the other top players that are going to be there. And so the meta becomes super cyclical. Like, all right, so I know they're going to bring a really defensive, trading MSU army. I'm going to try and bring a speed army that has a lot of teleports, can get and disrupt their defensive play, force them to engage me. And, hold on, now they're bringing a lot of indirect fire. Now I'm going to bring this type of list.
That's kind of what we have.
Kind of.
We're not bringing the same list of 2 tournaments back to back.
Yeah, it just happens to be that a couple of the new books are just more powerful than what's come before and a lot more powerful than the 8th edition
Back
books.
in the day, the competitive 40K meta, it wasn't this. It wasn't a meta. It wasn't like people net listing and changing stuff. It was people brought their collections to the tournament and just played. And if you had a tournament list, it was your tournament list for more or less half the season minimum. Like your season was this list.
In my opinion, everything should be brought up to Admech and Drukhari level. Everything should be brought up to that level. And one of the things that's so good about Drukhari and Admech is that almost anything in that book is viable. There is stuff in Drukhari that still hasn't been used, even though it's good.
Like what?
Like all the beast things, the Clawed Fiends.
Well,
It's not terrible. Like you could actually run that stuff.
I've looked at them. They're like kind of sad spawn.
But you could also run the -1 damage grotesques.
I have looked at that too.
Like there is stuff in there you could for particular metas that's good.
Yeah.
Admech has the same thing. The problem is that most books that come out, there's a lot of really mediocre data sheets that you don't get used, and so like 1 or 2 builds come out of each book. Whereas Admech and Drukhari can have a lot of different flexibility. That's where all the books need to be. So I'd rather raise everybody up to that level than bring them down.
Thank you for coming to Siegs' TED Talk.
Yep, that was a good question. The coaching games and the clinics are clutch. Just wish I had more time to interact. Well, we've introduced a new thing called the War Room Social, which is live, a conference style with Brad and John on Fridays. That's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern this Friday. So if you want to join them, you can pre-ask questions. It's kind of taking the place of the older style clinics where it was more Q&A based. this social is going to be what some of the old clinics have been.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's also you get to hang out with other Warrior members.
You're a Warrior member.
Mm-hmm. How do you guys like the LV Team Event Tournament package? Do you like the terrain keywords? Seems to have a lot of heavy and obscuring. I think it's just a short gap solution because a lot of their terrain isn't designed for 9th edition.
Yeah.
They designed those terrain formats in like late 7th, early 8th edition. Mm-hmm. And so they've got holes everywhere. They have weird shapes. They have terrain sets that are asymmetrical. And so they're very unequal, like that Forge one, where it's just like a big hangar on one side and then 2 buildings on the other. And like, this is not even close to being the same.
Yeah.
So I don't think their terrain system has been... They've had to basically come up with a solution to fix their terrain because ACO, it was very abusable. They've come up with player placed and put a lot of new keywords onto terrain. So if you look at their Necron table, which is abysmal for competitive play, it has obscuring on pretty much everything. There's small obelisks that have obscuring. There's small like generators that have obscuring. Normally in games and based on GW's rulebook, they wouldn't have obscuring, but they've put it on there because they've wanted to make their they want to keep the terrain that they've designed so they could keep selling it.
I'm glad they're doing that instead of just not doing anything.
Yeah,
even
they've actually put the feedback into effect, and it's worked.
Right.
Like people did genuinely like player place terrain. They're using it at Las Vegas teams.
And it's also like, I understand that like calling the little base with like a pebble on it obscuring doesn't really make sense, but it's better than having someone's entire day ruined because they just 1 second
Exactly.
got shot.
Just think about the green board that they have, which has like 2 craters and 2 forests that are just flat surfaces, and those hills. Without obscuring, there's basically no obscuring terrain on that board. You have to put the keyword out there, even though it doesn't fit what GW says, and that's perfectly fine. That helps actually make the game playable on that terrain.
That is good T-omanship in my opinion.
Yes, you need to be flexible. So kudos to Reese and the guys for making the changes. Having a lot of problems with Tau against Dark Angels. Dark Angels are just a better army. However, Tau does have tools. You need to use the reroll wound strat on the Crisis unit. The Crisis unit with 6s or additional AP will actually do enough against the Terminator unit. Also, move blocking. Dark Angels hate to be move blocked, so if you have Remora drones, they're perfect for blocking the Dark Angel Terminators, slowing them down from touching objectives. That's the biggest thing I'd say. Mm-hmm. $5 super chat from Mr. Matt. Oh, one more question. How would you fix battle tanks like Castigators in this edition? The loss of core and the trading style of the game seems to hurt them. Definitely. Also, lack of invul on a lot of these battle tanks. So you see like Lehman Russ tanks. Lehman Russes at least have the tank order, if they're a tank commander, to pop out and then get back behind terrain, which is a useful ability. You see me use it with the Riptide that Tau has. Tau tanks are terrible. You have the Space Marine tanks. You have the Sisters Castigators. Why are they not good? Well, the game is filled with flat 3 plus D3 damage, and if you don't have an invuln or have a 6-up invuln, that's just not going to cut it. So as soon as you stick out, you're dead. Mm-hmm. And that's not how you want to spend like 160, 170 points. I don't know how much the Castigator actually is, but I believe it's around there.
I don't know.
So if you're taking away core, so you're taking away their rerolls, and you're not giving them extra defensive buffs, they didn't get -1 damage, they didn't get any sort of extra invuln save or extra wounds, they didn't get any of that. What needs to happen? They just need to be cheaper. Razorbacks need to be cheaper.
Need to be cheaper.
So, because it seems like they're not going to try and revisit a lot of these old vehicles, unfortunately. The Castigator's a new model, and guess what? They don't actually just try and make new models broken. They like fall into new units being broken. But usually it's old units that just get re-envisioned that are silly. Honestly.
It's kind of random. Like
yeah, it's like completely random. Like
stuff is good, stuff is bad.
If you think they're pre-planning this, you're giving them far too much credit. My friend runs the -1 damage Homunculus army, durable, fast, does rely on the +1 to power from pain, and a lot of it flies, so it's hard to move block chunks of the army. However, I move block what I can, shoot what I can't, while outscoring as much as I can. Yeah, I mean, that army is actually good in a meta like this. There's a lot of 2 damage out there, especially if you're running against a lot of squeak buggies. -1 damage grotesques are just not going down.
That's true.
Or Kronos.
No, you can make a very tough Dark Elder army. It's really interesting, actually. I've thought about doing it.
Homunculus Covens also have... you could run the melee Coven as a separate detachment, too.
Yeah, you could run a very homunculus heavy Dark Element.
Racks actually hit hard when you put a lot of buffs on them, as Nick has shown.
Yeah, rack attack.
Like they actually get like, okay, hold on, you have like 30 plus attacks here. What? Like AP2.
Multiple AP, reroll wounds for 1 CP.
What? Pardon me? I thought these were just racks. These are racks just being durable.
Yeah, no.
Just standing around.
Rack slap.
So, there's... Drukhari is a deep book. There's a lot to explore in there. Should Forge World models rules be banned from tournament play? I feel like a lot of books and lists are being twisted by random Forge World models being either worthless or OP. That's, to be fair, Knights. Knights is the biggest abuser of that. Without the Majera, honestly, Imperial Knights are pretty terrible. And more axes. Like, without Forge World, same with Custodes. If you just take away the Custodes dreads and Venatari, wow, is that book completely different. So, I would not ban them. I would wait until... I would like eventually Forge World is just a cool thing.
Yeah, I don't want Forge World in the game, really, but until they... Some armies need it.
So some armies actually need those extra
you
damages.
need to help
like
those
Custodes.
armies then remove Forge World. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan.
Forge World isn't as obscene as it was last edition, where there was just stuff that was straight up broken for a while.
Seventh
Yeah,
Forge
I
World?
bet.
Oh. There was a Renegades army. There was a whole faction from Forge World, like Death Court.
Yeah.
It was just made of... It was like all the guard stuff that had gone Renegade. And it could ally with anything Chaos. So it gave Chaos all this cheap garbage, which Chaos has sorely needed, and guns, because you took like 9 Wyverns for like 500 points, and you just Wyverned all the artillery off the table, all the infantry off the table. It was great. Then you took it to formation with the Flesh Hounds. Jack had like 80 Flesh Hounds in this army, protecting the Wyverns.
You gotta protect those Wyverns with your lives. I wonder if GW only takes metrics of super majors, because there hasn't been a lot, and they don't have data.
I think they get their stats from Goonhammer, if I'm being honest. I don't know. I think that's what
I
they
have
do.
no idea. But there are good stats out there. There's Falcon.
I think they actually work closely with Falcon, or at least they have spoken to Falcon about 40K
I feel like
stats.
Falcon is just trying to be on their radar. Like, please,
Yeah.
just acknowledge that these stats exist out there.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Falcon is a hero of this community.
He absolutely is. We should go Founding Fathers mode, get the top minds in the game, lock them in the room for months until they come out with the perfect rules document. Like, I'm fine with 9th edition rules. I like the missions. I think some of the mission secondaries are a little too powerful or just absolute garbage. And I think they should have... they should balance the faction-specific secondaries. Like, when Chapter Proof came out in the summer, they should have released one faction-specific secondary for every book that didn't have a codex.
Look, Seeks, I painted 2 Harlequins in 1 paint stream, and I'm working on the 3rd. It's amazing, because I washed them all last week, so it wasn't too much washing to do today.
Yeah. That's the biggest frustrating thing, is they haven't done enough to help the books that don't have a codex yet. If you don't have a codex, they should have given you something in Chapter Proof. They didn't give points drops, they should have gave you faction secondary at least.
Tell them how you really feel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the previous, in 8th edition, they had that year where only half of the books were out, and they went ahead in Chapter Proof, released a Warlord trait relic and maybe something else for each faction that didn't have a codex. That would have been really nice and just helped tide those factions over. Tyranids definitely need points drops. Absolutely. Nathan Moore with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Nathan. How do you evaluate if you have the right balance of tools? For example, when I'm building lists, I have squads labeled as scoring primaries, trading, etc. So basically, Nick and I actually created a video of all the questions you need to ask yourself when designing a list. So look forward to that coming out on YouTube in the coming week or so. That's going to have a lot of information like this in there. But what I would say is you need to start with what your list is supposed to do well. Okay? So what is my list actually designed to do? Yeah. What rules, what combos are taking advantage of?
To your army. You can't just take stuff. You have to. It's got to be like, my plan is to be really tough. My plan is to be really fast. My plan is to deny points. My plan is to score points. My plan is to table them. Whatever your plan is, you gotta. It can't just be let me take units and see what happens.
Yeah, just because a unit is good, data sheet wise, points wise, and it can do a particular role, doesn't mean it fits into your overall plan. So start with the overall plan, what you're doing well. Take, for instance, my Metallica list. What does it do well? It projects incredible threat across the board. As soon as my opponent walks out of their deployment zone, they could be hit by any number of threatening targets that can be buffed to the hilt with damage. So I give my opponent pause every time they step into the middle of the table. That can mean opponents play too conservatively. I get an advantage on the mission, and I take that into the late game. That's part of how I've designed it as a core concept. And then I've added units that help that way. So start with a core concept of what you actually want to do. And for this, you really need to understand what book you're using. So what things do AdMech do well? They shoot well, absolutely. But they also have amazing mobility and tricks. I've actually prioritized the mobility and tricks over the shooting. And that's why I've gone with Metallica over Mars. And then I built in units that are really good with the Metallica rules, like March to War, and being able to turn off rerolls on Ruststalkers with Blair and Glory. So start with the overall concept and what your book does very well, and then start building units in there that fit that theme. But once you have that, then you can absolutely write it down as, okay, these 5-man Ranger units that I'm taking, absolutely, they're there to sit behind a Ruststalker unit on an objective, make sure I keep scoring primary points. They're there to screen out, do retrieve Octaria's data. I could use them to trade on the middle objective by sending them 12 inches across the board with 1 CP. They could do all that stuff. So that's when you can, once you have the overall concept, you can write down what every unit can do.
Right.
That's my advice.
Well, my advice is to watch that YouTube channel or YouTube video that comes out. It should be out next week sometime, T, is that right?
Yeah, Martin is working on it as we speak.
The editors! They're seeing behind the curtains.
So I'm excited for that one. There's a lot of good knowledge in there, but it basically brings 5 overall categories of knowledge you need to think about when designing a list.
Categories of knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Big questions you need to ask yourself.
This guy's got a yellow mohawk. Ask me about the yellow mohawk. Could you pick up that Harlequin that fell?
Where is it?
Hard to get to. It's all the way out there.
No, I can't reach it.
Yeah.
It's way out there.
What a day. Harlequin's dropping. It's time for a wash.
Yep, if you do want to check out the Falcon, you can check him out on Art of War's Down Unders episode, which just came out on our YouTube channel. Part 1's available for free on the YouTube channel. If you want to check out Part 2, you can sign up for the podcast. And we have a great bundle with War Room and podcast.
On the website.
Mm-hmm. Would love better mission secondaries too. 5 or 6 of them are just pure garbage. Yeah, I have never taken most of the faction secondaries. I've taken Direct Assault, Priority Target. I have taken... I took the Battle Lines one once and got a nice 0 on it. Somehow still won that game.
I like the Vital Intelligence one sometimes.
I've taken Data Intercept before.
Some armies do minimize losses.
I have taken Minimized Losses.
I think the rest are trash.
I've actually taken the Scouring one, and I've maxed it and also scored 0 on it in separate games.
One. I really do.
It's really, do you go first or not? Because if you don't, it's actually really hard to score. Frankly.
Yeah, not a fan of that one personally.
It was worth trying earlier in the edition.
For sure. I tried most of them.
I have not tried the Scorched Earth one. I have not tried Overrun. I've not tried the one on Surround and Destroy. A lot of the Dawn of War ones are absurdly hard.
Yeah. They're like, hold all the objectives on your opponent's side of the board.
At the top of their deployment zone.
And then do it for a turn and survive. Also perform an action.
Yeah.
It has to be an infantry and a non-character.
Okay.
I think I'm just going to engage.
Yeah. I'll take Teleport Homers before I take that.
Yeah, seriously. No, that's a secondary.
I love how they changed it, but didn't really change it. It was still terrible.
I
don't know how that happened. Reminds me of what we used to say while making Magic the Gathering decks. I think you're missing the point of the deck. Go into every game, turn having a plan, but know when to break from it. This is what separates good players from the great players. Definitely. I go into every single game with a plan, and then all it is about adapting to what they're doing.
Exactly. Here's my plan. I'm doing this, and then play the situation you're actually in. Of course. Oh, Mr. Siegs.
What you got?
I think it's time for a wash.
Another wash.
Well, I haven't washed once this paint stream, actually. I talked about it, but didn't follow through.
You didn't follow through. Well, we're getting towards the end of the paint stream.
I think it's a good time to wash, Do you disagree?
No, this is the perfect time to wash.
Perfect time. So I was actually a lot more productive when I started the paint stream with paint and finished it with a wash. I'm going to add this to the notebook.
I need to... Where are my texture paints?
Texture.
There it is. Sterling Mud.
What are you doing now?
Putting some texture paint on this Dread Knight.
Is that the last Dread Knight for this week's game?
Yep. I am borrowing 2 from Charlie.
Internet, who do you think is going to win this game? The Dread Knights or the Drukhari and Harlequins? These Harlequins that I'm working on.
Is it these particular Harlequins?
Well, I have 15 troops in my list, and now I have 11 and a half painted Harlequins. Or 12 and a half painted Harlequins. Oh my god, I'm making progress.
How come you're running Harlequins with your Drukhari?
I have an idea. I want to try stuff. I think one of the issues I found with Drukhari, and it's not really a real issue, but if I want to make my army as possibly good at playing objectives as possible, instead of focusing on killing them, they prioritize objective play instead of prioritizing damage output. Harlequins actually add a lot of value to that. So I'm kind of just exploring an army that's really good at objectives and missions and stuff like that, and kind of just has enough damage to get by against my opponent. Doesn't really do damage, but has enough that I can kill something, if you challenge me to. Still got Incubi, got powerful HQs, that kind of stuff. And I've taken a lot of units from Drukhari that don't need advance in charge. Like I've removed the witches, I've removed combat rag. Because I'm really just taking I'm taking Harlequins for advance in charge, and I'm taking Drukhari for just good units. So we'll see how it works. I'm curious. Might flop. But nothing ventured, nothing gained. Am I right, Siegs?
Do you have the Solitaire?
I don't have the Solitaire. This is 40k is a game for 2 players, not 1 player.
Death Jester.
Death Jester.
Jeff the Dester.
Jeff the Dester. Can you hand me those 2 army painters there? Thanks. Strong tone. Now we're talking.
How strong is the tone?
It's a tone. This is the type of tone that I take with you when you have misbehaved. Strong.
That doesn't happen.
When does that not happen? That happened yesterday. It's like, Siegs, what are you doing? And you were like, beep boop, bop, beep boop.
That didn't happen.
You really have a different memory than I do. Memory bank.
I have an actual memory.
I don't think so.
That
Who was right on today's bet? Was it you or was it me? I think it was me.
Hey, of course Nick wiped from his memory banks the game he played with Drukhari where he got 0 primary.
That didn't happen.
That actually
did
happened.
not happen.
That actually happened.
I genuinely don't believe this.
I just showed you the game.
It didn't happen. How is that even possible? That's not possible.
Cerberus Raiders.
Cerberus.
You got Cerberus Raiders so bad.
Yeah. Since then, I've invented 85 tactics to stop them. These counters all.
See, I'm challenging your mind.
You're not challenging anything. You're challenging my patience.
Let's see. Any chance you guys will make an example coaching session so we can get a better idea of what we can expect if we buy coaching?
We actually did do that once. Did we actually put it on YouTube? Me and Adam did an example coaching.
Yes, it is on...
Oh, so yeah, let's link that up. There's an example coaching session. I think it was a Math Hammer clinic where Adam did the coaching, where I did coaching for Adam. Adam, our Math Hammer guy. Adam showed me what one of his games he played was, and this is something we really do with our clients and all that. So, we sat, and I coached Adam play-by-play, thought-by-thought, mistake-by-mistake through one of his games he played at a tournament, like a real tournament he went to. And it was awesome. So Siegs, I think, is grabbing that link for you. He's working on it. We have quite a few videos on this channel. Look at us go.
It's from a while ago. There it is.
It's like a month ago. But I guess a month is a long time in video land. So Siegs is linking that right here, which is awesome. Check it out. That's the kind of content you get in the Worm, along with way, way, way more stuff.
Yep.
And if you want the actual coaching, that's what you get with the actual coaching.
What we do every week for our YouTube members is we post one of our War Room videos. So I've given a nice mix on there. I have a coaching game. We've got this Math Hammer session, various clinics. We'll have some new stuff coming up soon, too. So if you want a taste of what is in the War Room, YouTube membership gets you there pretty cheaply. Mm-hmm. And then you can get these example videos. Who's the Westworld robot now? That game doesn't look like anything to Nick. Yeah. I don't think Nick has seen Westworld, so I don't think he gets it.
I don't.
But it's a great show.
I've heard it's really good.
Season 1 is incredible.
I don't have time to watch TV. I'm a proud parent now.
Nick used to watch just random TV shows from the early 2000s.
I watched Suits. That's all Seeks to say.
Hey Arnold.
This is nostalgia. That is just what nostalgia is.
Is there any time where you would pick Sanguinary Guard over Vanguard vets? Jack just picks them, period, over Vanguard
Jack
vets.
just likes the same.
You start with the Sanguinary Guard, and then you go to Vanguard vets. He prefers having access to...
that damage 2 is good.
The damage 2 inbuilt is very good for Blood Angels, but on top of that, 2-up armor and cover, -1 to hit in combat. He loves that package.
Yeah.
So, Jack is a big believer in the Sanguinary Guard. He's done the best with Blood Angels.
I would agree.
So I would trust him
follow
there.
Jack's lead on the Blood
Fusion
Angels.
boats, Nick?
No.
They're good, though. Kelsey
They're
says
not good. They're not good. They're a lie. Fusion boats are a lie. It's like cake.
How do you feel about freebooters?
I think freebooters are an interesting choice. If you do freebooters, don't mix your clans. Make your entire army freebooters so you actually benefit from it. But I don't, or at least all your buggies, make them freebooters. But then you're giving up fallback and charge, or fallback and shoot rather. So you need to have a real plan in place for getting tied up and dealing with it, because you're going to, and you're choosing to deal with that problem by giving yourself bonuses to hit, which I'm all about. But have a real plan in place to deal with that problem.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah. All right, that's
I'm
a
all
nice
good.
looking Dreadnought. You've done some good work here. I'm proud of him.
Well,
Let's show it off. Let's put that in our social medias so I can get it on Instagram. I think that's a
if you
great
wanna
idea.
Snap a shot at
Yeah,
this.
and let's get these Harlequins. We want to show off Nick's work. Nick painted 2.5 Harlequins today. Thank you. They're gonna dance on him.
Grandmaster. So not finished, obviously, but he looks good. He's tabletop.
He's definitely.
He's tabletop.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today and hobbying. I bring the hangout,
I always bring the hobby. Every
And-
single time.
and it's time to potty.
It's time for Power Bottles, right?
Power bottles.
Tell us about Power Bottles, Nick.
So we'll see you later. What else we got coming up this week? Right after this, we have some stuff.
Yeah, we got some amazing stuff coming up. As you saw, I put the schedule up so you can see all the cool stuff that we're doing, not only on YouTube, but also in the War Room. So we have a brand new clinic style coming up in the War Room, and that is the pros and cons. It's a debate-oriented style. Brad Chester, John Lennon, two really strong, opinionated people debating a particular topic. That's going to be a weekly thing from now on. Then tomorrow on YouTube, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be playing the Grey Knights. I've been building this Grandmaster just for this occasion, against Nick, who's been painting up the Harlequins for this game. So, Jukari Harlequins versus Grey Knights. And then in the War Room game, we are testing out 2 top-tier lists. Jack's Black Templar list, his new updated
Jack
version.
Templars?
Jack Templars, up against John Lennon's Tried and True Sisters, a battle army. So,
Awesome.
really cool matchup there in the War Room. And then on Friday, we have several more clinics. Math Hammer, we got the Astartes, and we've also got a brand new thing, the War Room Social, which is a live conference-style meet and greet session with our coaches.
Live talk with your coaches?
Yep, and our War Room members.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yep.
I like that. All
So,
right.
more exclusive version of the Hangout and Hobby, based around some of the cool, hard-hitting topics in 40K right now.
Check it out, everyone. Got this and so much more stuff coming in Art of War.
Yep, we're going to send you off to a promo of the War Room. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Dive even deeper into competitive 40K and become a member of the world's most knowledgeable and positive community.
The War Room is an exclusive group that brings together the world's best 40K players as coaches to help anyone from a newer player to an experienced tournament veteran learn, grow, and reach their goals within our shared hobby.
Each week we offer a variety of live stream coaching matches centered around illuminating the thought process and in-game decision making of top players. We explain everything we're doing and why.
You'll learn about the ever-evolving meta, match play mission theory, list making, and discussion of every faction in the game, and have access to analysis of all the latest rules. Our team of highly experienced coaches teach weekly clinics on each individual faction, strategy sessions on deployment and cool tricks, and meta-analyses each week during Meta Monday.
We are committed to not only providing the best knowledge for players available, but also building a one-of-a-kind community.
Come be a part of the War Room.